Welcome back. And boy, it's been too long since I've had somebody on from AFA, the American Family Association. I can't say enough about this organization and the work they do and continue to do across the country. They do have a website, afaaction.net, and there's a picture of the landing page. So delighted to have with us today Dr. Jameson Taylor. He's the director of the Center for Government Renewal there at AFA Action, which is the government affairs affiliate of the American Family Association. He also serves as senior fellow for the American Family Association, so an honor to have him. Dr. Taylor, good to see you, friend. How are you?
Good to see you, Perry. How are you doing?
Good. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Today's National Vanilla Milkshake Day. Maybe we ought to get together and have one.
I was hoping, I didn't know if it was Donut Day, but I'm hoping something good, as opposed to like Broccoli Day. Broccoli's okay, but hey.
No. First day of summer, it has to be vanilla milkshake, so that's good.
There you go. I didn't know that. All right.
Hey, thanks to you and your organization, all you guys do. This is really great. Thanks for your dedication. I know that you did some research that shows really a concerning disparity, I guess, in Medicaid funding as it relates to abortion. What's your concern there? Can you share it with us?
Yeah, this is a huge concern, and there are three things for your listeners to think about. Three questions they may have about this. So the first question is, what is the problem? What is the scope of the problem that we're talking about here? And basically, you have billion-dollar abortion providers like Planned Parenthood. They have an annual budget of $2 billion. So billion-dollar abortion providers are getting hundreds of millions of government funding from both states and the federal government. They're getting hundreds of millions of dollars in funding to, of course, perform abortions and do all the evil things that they do. At the same time, you have people in your community that are waiting for services, especially through Medicaid, something called the Home and Community-Based Services Program. And in about 40 states, there are waiting lists for these programs. Now, what are we talking about? Most people don't know what home and community-based services is, but if you are a mom of a child, a handicapped child who's waiting for a feeding tube, and you're hoping that Medicaid will pay for that feeding tube, you know about being on the waiting list for home and community-based services. If you are a child of a mother or father who's maybe getting up there in years, and you're trying to take care of them at home where they're more comfortable, you're trying to keep them out of hospice or keep them out of the nursing home, you know about home and community-based services. The problem we have is 700,000 people around the country are on these waiting lists for services through Medicaid, and yet Planned Parenthood is getting $700 million in Medicaid and healthcare funding. So, this is essentially unjust. Medicaid is supposed to be a program that's serving disabled kids and elderly people, and instead the money is being funneled to billion-dollar abortion providers. So that's the problem that we're talking about today.
Does any of the DOGE investigation bring this up, especially when they're dealing with the $9.2 billion cuts in the House and the big, beautiful bill? This fits the president's scenario, but it doesn't seem to be on the radar screen.
Well, it is actually on the radar. And so this is something that DOGE has looked at. They've looked at Medicaid funding. They've looked at Title X funding, which is a separate pot of money. They looked at Title V money, which is a separate pot of money. And what they're doing in the One Big Beautiful Bill is they're trying to cut this funding for big abortion providers, $700 million that they're trying to cut in the One Big Beautiful Bill. Now, Planned Parenthood and groups like that, they're out there screaming, hey, we need this money, we need this money. The reality is that even if we cut this funding in the One Big Beautiful Bill, Planned Parenthood and these other groups are still going to be getting plenty of government money. It's just that they're very greedy. They want to take money from disabled kids. They're looking to take money from elderly adults. And what's more important, if we think about what is the One Big Beautiful Bill, we're hearing about this in the news. A lot of people don't really know what it is. Essentially, it's the budget for the United States. And so there are a lot of negotiations going on about what is going to be in this budget. What is the government going to fund? What are they not going to fund? This budget is about whether or not people are going to pay more taxes. Now, I think sometimes you read in the news and think that the One Big Beautiful Bill is cutting taxes. That is not what it is doing. The Trump administration cut taxes already in Trump's first term. What the One Big Beautiful Bill is doing is keeping those tax cuts on the books. So the question comes down for your listeners, and this is how this will affect them. Do you want to pay more in taxes so that big abortion providers with billion-dollar budgets can keep getting more of your money? Money that should be going to disabled kids and elderly adults if we run the Medicaid program correctly. So that's the question. Do you want to pay more in taxes to funnel this money to abortion providers? And I don't know about you, but even people that are in the middle, independent voters, maybe they don't even care that much about abortion, but they don't want their tax money to go to abortion providers. They just don't want to fund that. So even people that are maybe kind of more neutral on the abortion issue, they definitely don't want their tax dollars going to abortion providers, and they definitely don't want to pay more in taxes, which is what we're talking about. They don't want to pay more in taxes so that they can subsidize billion-dollar abortion providers. So that's what's happening right now in the One Big Beautiful Bill, and what people need to do about it is to call their U.S. senators, call their U.S. congressmen, and tell them stand strong on defunding big abortion providers. We have a report on that. It's at the AFA.net website. You can also go to AFAAction.net and learn more as well.
Okay, good stuff all the way around. So I realize one of the great motivations behind the BBB is to keep in place the tax cuts from the first administration and to put them on the track to become permanent. But there was also talk, Dr. Taylor, that while the president is trying to cut things, that there was talk at one time to totally defund Planned Parenthood. Is that anywhere out there?
That's what they're trying to do in the One Big Beautiful Bill. Now, for a few things for people to know. The One Big Beautiful Bill is a completely Republican bill. Anything good in the bill is from Republicans. Anything bad is from Republicans. Now, it's a Republican bill because the way they are passing it, they're doing it in a special way where it only needs Republican votes to pass. Now, for different reasons, that means that they are limited in what they can do. But right now, we're seeing the U.S. Senate is doing the max in terms of defunding big abortion providers in the One Big Beautiful Bill. So the language is actually really good. They're looking to defund big abortion providers for 10 years. That's the most that they can do right now in this bill, but that would be extremely important, and it would be the first time that we have done that as the pro-life movement. So it's very, very important that we keep the language strong in the One Big Beautiful Bill, and that's what people need to tell their senators and their congressmen. Tell them, look, we want strong language in the One Big Beautiful Bill to defund abortion providers. So this is a case where actually Mike Johnson in the House and John Thune in the Senate, who's the Senate Majority Leader, they have done a great job on this issue. What we need to make sure about is that the weaker members of the Republican Party don't peel away. We need to make sure that Planned Parenthood's propaganda does not work. And that's why it's so important to get the word out on this report, because this is about, when Planned Parenthood is getting this money through Medicaid, and Medicaid is a program, a health insurance program that's supposed to serve disabled kids and elderly people. And again, Medicaid is not Medicare. Medicare is something that many of us have paid into already. Medicaid is not Medicare. Medicaid is a welfare entitlement program. And so Planned Parenthood has been getting this money through this welfare program that should instead be going to vulnerable people like the disabled. That's the problem. And right now, actually, Mike Johnson and John Thune and President Trump, they're taking care of this problem. But we need to make sure that the Republicans stand strong and that they don't water down the language. And so that's why AFA has put out an action alert on this. We're going to be putting out state-by-state action alerts. I encourage people to go to afa.net to learn more about this problem. And you can go ahead and email and call your U.S. senators and your congressmen and tell them, stand strong on defunding abortion providers. Because if you don't, this hurts people in your community, and it's also going to increase taxes.
Good stuff. AFAaction.net or AFAnet.net. You can go there. There's the old saying, Dr. Taylor, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So is this like the first bite of the big elephant?
We are hoping so. I mean, the Trump administration has been really good on these issues so far. They're also looking to cut what's called Title X money for Planned Parenthood, but they cannot cut that money in the one big beautiful bill for the different reasons that the way they're passing that special budget, the one big beautiful bill, there are certain rules that apply to it. But separately, the Trump administration is also trying to cut other funding that's going to abortion providers. And people don't realize this, but these abortion providers, as I said, they're greedy. They're getting all kinds of funding that should be going to other organizations in communities to help people. So the Trump administration, though, has been strong. A lot of this is going to go to court, though.
Again, I'm so happy to mention the strong leadership of Speaker Johnson and Majority Leader Thune. Who on the Senate side at the moment are you concerned about?
Well, you're going to have folks that are from states like South Carolina and Ohio who they're going to need some encouragement, make sure that they pass this bill. Well, one senator who surprisingly has come out raising a lot of questions about the one big beautiful bill is Josh Hawley in Missouri. So Josh Hawley needs calls. Tell him, hey, we want you to support the one big beautiful bill. We want you to defund Planned Parenthood in the one big beautiful bill. You have Ron Johnson in Wisconsin. He's come out against the one big beautiful bill. And the kind of thing to understand is that right now, this is pretty much baked in the cake. So we have to pass the language the way that it is. There's some things in the one big beautiful bill that aren't great, but by and large, it's a really good bill. And one of the best pieces is this defunding of big abortion providers. So I think people just need to call their U.S. senators and congressmen and tell them, hey, stand strong, defund big abortion, pass the one big beautiful bill, and hopefully we can get it passed by July. That's what leadership would like to say. Of course, the Democrats want to slow things down. Because if they slow things down, Trump won't be able to accomplish the other things in his agenda, like good judges. That's one thing, we're not seeing the nominations for judges go through. That's a whole nother issue because right now the Senate is bogged down on the one big beautiful bill. So we need to get that passed as soon as possible so we can pass the other items on the president's agenda.
All right, good stuff all the way around. Again, Dr. Taylor, thank you, friend, for your time and your strong convictions. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, AFAaction.net. There's the picture of that landing page, or you can go to AFA.net, the American Family Association. They've been frontline warriors for a long time, and now they got champions like Dr. Taylor there, really out on the front line. So check it out, get the information, check out your state, check out your area. And where they are with this, and like you said, make those phone calls. Thank you, friend. God bless you for what you're doing over there.
Thank you, Perry. Have a great day, and I hope you get a milkshake.
You too.
That's right.